Hello, my name is Lori Ziegenhagen. I'm a range technician with the USDA Agricultural Research Service and the Eastern Oregon Agricultural Research Center. During this week's Eastern Oregon Ag Minute, I will discuss the wildflowers of the high desert sagebrush grasslands. At first glance, our sagebrush grasslands can look like miles and miles of shrubs with very little variety and little color, especially if seen from a car traveling at highway speeds in the middle of August. But every spring, the high desert comes alive with a wide and colorful array of wildflowers that grow between, around, and under the ubiquitous sagebrush. The size, kind, and number of flowers you can find will vary from year to year, depending upon temperatures and moisture. In wet springs, like we are experiencing this year, the high desert puts on a wonderful show. I encourage everyone to find a good wildflower book, step outside, and see what's blooming. Each winter, I watch eagerly for the first signs of spring, the melting snow, snow geese, and the wildflowers. The first wildflowers to push up are sagebrush buttercups and yellow bells. Both are bright, sunshiny yellow and are easily missed if you don't get off the roads. The sagebrush buttercup has small, round, 5-petaled flowers and dark green leaves that barely reach off the ground. The taller of the two, the yellow bell, is around 4 inches high with a single, nodding, 6-petaled flower. I get excited over these small yellow beauties because they signify the start of the wildflower season in the high desert, and that for the next few months, I can expect new flowers each time I go outside. For example, biscuit root with its cluster of yellow flowers and parsley-like leaves, big-headed clover with a low-growing pink pom-pom, and the woolly-pod milkvetch, a small fuzzy plant with purple sweet pea flowers, will be soon to follow. A few of these wildflowers fix nitrogen and naturally fertilize the soil, while others can serve as food to both wildlife and people. Although yellow bells and buttercups are mostly finished for this year, you still might catch a glimpse of them if you head to sagebrush plateaus at higher elevation, where the snow has recently melted. Today I wanted to share with you a few more spring wildflowers that I think are worth getting your boots muddy for. Balsam root, lupin, larkspur, flax, sand lily, bright yellow biscuit root, Indian paintbrush, groundsel, and false dandelion are all showy spring wildflowers widespread across the high desert. However, some of the most beautiful and delicate flowers are often ignored, the spring annuals. As annuals, these plants start from seed each year, flower, produce more seed for next year's show, and then die as soon as the soil dries up. They're often very thin-stemmed, measured just a few inches tall, and have flowers an 1/8 inch or smaller in size. Although very tiny, through a hand lens, these flowers are surprisingly intricate. Some of the most common are little blue-eyed Marys, pink microsteris, and desert alyssum, but there are dozens of small little white flowers I have yet to figure out. Many people dismiss these plants as weedy, but they are native and may play very important roles in healthy rangelands. In some years, spring annuals form virtual carpets that may collectively put pressure on invasive weed seedlings that are attempting to get a foothold. Sometimes good things do come in small packages. Today I would like to talk about some wildflowers that show up in summer, which in flower years is typically mid to late June. A few of these include taper tip onion, a hot pink pom-pom in the end of a slender 5-inch stalk. Hawksbeard, a dandelion-like flower that has a foot-tall stalk with 20 to 100 yellow flowers. Desert aster and fleabane are both small, low-growing, shrub-like plants covered with small purple, yellow, or white daisies. Wild buckwheat, another stubby, low-growing plant covered with small, white, pink, or yellow pom-poms, much like a birthday cake is covered in candles. And penstemon, a leafy plant often growing in rocky areas. It has a spray of large purple and dark blue flowers. I am always impressed with these wildflowers. They put on a beautiful show just as the desert is drying out and the weather is getting hotter. Because of this, they play important roles in the diets of many wildlife species. For example, although sage grouse may eat sagebrush through most of the year, the chicks rely heavily on these early summer wildflowers for nutrition and strength. During this week's Ag Minute, I have been discussing the varieties of wildflowers found in the sagebrush grasslands of the high desert. The wildflower season starts soon after the snow melts. If you're willing to get off the roads and get your boots muddy, there is a show of bright yellow flowers and small spring annuals. As the weather warms, the wildflowers get larger and showier. Each year can offer a different array of wildflowers that can last into late June and early July. I know that the wildflower season is about over when I see the sagebrush mariposa lily. This is a light purple or white flower that resembles a garden tulip. It can grow about a foot tall, stands on a single, slender stem, and when it blooms, can measure 3 inches across. I've always found it amazing that the showiest single flower in the high desert appears in July when the weather is least hospitable. It's like the big finale of the 4th of July fireworks. Check out the local library and bookstores for wildflower books. Many have great pictures and tips on where to find them. The NRCS has a plants database online where you can get a picture and distribution map of nearly any rangeland plant. This winter, the Eastern Oregon Ag Research Center webpage will have a gallery of wildflower pictures to brighten up those cloudy days. Be sure to check it out. I'm Lori Ziegenhagen. Thanks for listening.